to the 2025 annual meeting of the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar. I'm Chris Schmidt, and it is my honor to serve as the CEO of the association and the foundation. And on behalf of our entire team, we'd like to welcome you and thank you for being here today. Next month will mark my one-year anniversary on the job. The two questions I get asked the most from lawyers and laymen alike are, number one, are you enjoying it? And that's an easy answer, and the answer is yes. I love it. It's been so fantastic. The second question is a little more nuanced. Is the job you're doing the job you expected to do when they hired you? And I will tell you the way that they described the job in June of 2024 and the job that as it exists in the summer of 2025 are a little bit different, but that's certainly not a complaint. I'm so grateful to be in a position to effectuate change and drive growth during these uncertain times in our country. Along with many of you in the room, I'm excited, I'm energized by the opportunities presented by the challenges we're facing. And I'm also not afraid of the hard conversations that our members are asking us to lead. Thank you so much for being a part of that. As the world around us has shifted, we've shifted to match the challenges of the day, but always with an eye to the future of this organization. Nothing we are doing now is in a vacuum. Instead, every action we take is with the goal of recruiting new members, retaining loyal members, and increasing the visibility of the bar in Northeast Ohio and around the country. As I'm sure you'll hear from others today, saying that you're with the CMBA at any gathering of bar leaders is like saying you're with the band at a Beatles concert. We set the curve for metro bars around the country, and there are many, many state bars that are trying to keep up with us, and that's all thanks to two groups of people. The first is the membership, and we're here today to celebrate every single one of you and thank you for being a part of this organization. In an era when most membership organizations are shrinking, we are growing. That includes total membership numbers for sure. But more than that, it includes the impacts of our programs on the city, county, state, and on our nation. The single most important thing you can do today is to go and ask 2 or 3 friends to join this organization. If you want to know how you can help, that's how you can help, is go find a couple of friends. If those friends happen to be with you today, or if you happen to have those friends' credit cards numbers memorized, Melanie Farrell will be glad to chat with you. I don't know where Melanie is, but she'll be happy to chat with you and sign you up today. The second group that makes the magic happen here are my teammates at the bar. There are likely several new faces in the room, even to our most dedicated members. There's actually one I see right now that we just hired yesterday, and she doesn't even work here yet, and she's here this afternoon. So hi, Noelle, welcome. 3 new hires this week, including Noelle. We've added 11 full-time staff to the bar in just 12 months. A 50% turnover would devastate most organizations, but our team has thrived in the opportunities presented by new talents and new ideas. The word my wife likes to use to describe my general pace is exhausting. I think this team at the bar would agree with that. Some days, hopefully not all of them. But even when I'm pushing them my hardest, and even when I'm driving them to their limits, they respond with grace, professionalism, and creativity. Working at a small nonprofit is an all-in existence, and I'm so thankful for every single one of them. Bar team, can you stand up where you are, and can we all give them a round of applause? One of my favorite parts about leadership is seeing people who have thrived in this environment go on to thrive in other environments. There are 2 people here today that I want to quickly call out. After 10 years at the CMBA, Carrie Burns left to join Tucker Ellis in January as their Director of Professional Development. Not only was Carrie instrumental in the creation and evolution of many programs you will hear about today, in the past 6 months, she has continued her impeccable service to this organization as a volunteer and key representative in the National Above the Line Network, seeking justice for all individuals, irrespective of their ability to pay. In more recent news, Caitlin Peterson. Caitlin, are you up here? Hello, Caitlin. Caitlin Peterson will soon be leaving us after 6 years at the bar for an exciting new role at the Cleveland Leadership Center. Caitlin has worn many hats in this organization, but I can confidently say that if you've ever had fun at something we've done here at the bar, especially in the last 6 years, including today, and including the golf outing, which is coming up in a few weeks, and we still have tickets available, please come to that. Caitlin has been instrumental and her fingerprints are all over it. So Caitlin and Carrie, we will miss certainly having you in the trenches with us every day, but we are so much better of an organization because you were here. Thank you for the... While our efforts around rule of law have certainly and understandably grabbed many of the headlines in the past year, I'd be remiss not to highlight a few of the efforts and programs that have really moved the needle in the background. Now in its second year, the Cleveland Legal Collaborative is changing lives every day thanks to the efforts of our 6 incredible fellows. Under the leadership of our new Bar Counsel and Director of Legal Services, Ted Folds, the CLC has served over 400 clients, including providing full representations to almost 100 people in the Justice Gap, and also provides almost 100 hours a month in pro bono legal services through our volunteer legal committees. I'd ask these 6 amazing attorneys to stand and be recognized. Abby O'Leary, Tyler Portner, Joe Dvorsky, Ange Mastrianda, Arias Johnson, and Josh Selby. Ange Mastandrea. I even wrote it out phonetically and I still messed it up. I'm sorry, Ange. So if you'd like more information about the collab, please go back during the reception and see them back here in the corner. They'd love to chat. Our youth-facing programs also continue to thrive. This summer's Lewis Stokes Scholars Program is the biggest it's been since 2015, with 15 students placed around the community. We've had over 700 students at our 2 mock trial competitions. There's been 145 3-hour volunteers that have served in 55 area classrooms this year. You can get more information about being involved in next year's program if you find my friend Trent Butler, who is back here in the back somewhere. Go talk to Trent. He would love to get you plugged into what we're doing. Our mental health and wellness focus has become a national model under Matt Besser's leadership. I know Matt will talk about this a little bit during his remarks, but I want to confirm that we are committed to continuing our efforts around mental health as long as there's a need. And let's be honest, there will always be a need for lawyers to take better care of themselves. Please take the time today to look at that program and many of the other programs in the centerfold to check out the exciting things that are happening at the bar and how you can get involved. Looking forward, you'll see some fundamental improvements to how we do business at the bar this coming year, including the creation of a dedicated team under the leadership of Jennifer Karnick, focused on growing our non-dues revenue across the organization. A renewed focus on program delivery and volunteer opportunities that connects every single person that wants to help with a meaningful way to help. A re-examination of our relationship between the association and the foundation to ensure that we are excelling as one bar and not as 2 separate organizations that happen to live together. A new and focused effort around partnerships. As of last month, the Cincinnati-based Ohio Justice and Policy Center is sharing some of our extra space on the 2nd floor as their new Cleveland headquarters to support their advocacy, policy, and education work around criminal justice reform and offender redemption. If you're not familiar with their work, please see OJPC CEO Gabe Davis. Gabe, you're here somewhere. Matthew is certainly here somewhere. Back there in the corner, go back and see my friend Matthew, who's the director of their Beyond Guilt project at the reception, and they would love to tell you more. We're also excited to be partnering with Chagrin Arts for this summer's Cleveland premiere of Blind Injustice. This opera tells the stories of 6 Ohio exonerees, true stories, who were freed after years in prison thanks to the work of the Ohio Innocence Project. This one-of-a-kind experience about the power of true justice will be at Playhouse Square July 11th, 12th, and 13th, and you can buy tickets online at playhousesquare.org. If you'd like more information about Blind Injustice, I'm sure that Justice Michael Donnelly, who's here somewhere, I saw him, would love to tell you about the opera and how you can get more involved in that effort. So please meet with him after we're done. We're also focused on leaving downtown and getting out into our communities more to help adults from all walks of life understand their responsibilities and their obligations under our Constitution. Keep an eye out for some exciting announcements soon coming up about those efforts. Now let's take a moment to celebrate some truly special people to the CMBA, members and individuals who've hit major milestones in their legal career. Today we're thrilled to welcome 37 new members into our 50-year club and 5 incredible members who've reached the 65-year mark of practice. If you take a look around the room, you'll see some of these honorees with us today. I'd like to invite those 50-year honorees who are here in person to please stand as I call your name. And audience, please hold your applause and we'll clap for them at the end. First, Fred Arnoff, James Awesome, Magistrate Connie Byrne, George Coakley, Jose Feliciano, David Hooker, Stephen Kaufman, Lynn Lazaro, and Peter Weinberger. A round of applause. You can find the full list of this year's 50 and 65-year honorees on page 18 of your program. One of my favorite things we do here at the bar is our Leadership Academy. Now in its 8th year, this program has served nearly 200 attorneys, and as they've come through a year-long education and networking masterclass put on by our own Melanie Farrell. 16 emerging and established leaders spent this year honing their leadership skills, getting to know one another, and digging deep into the inner workings of the Bar Association. Through the program, they also had the opportunity to learn from and to get to know some of our community's most accomplished general counsels, judges, managing partners, executive coaches, and more. Each year's class has a team project that seeks to help the bar brainstorm around one of our biggest challenges. This year's class had the mighty task of answering the prompt, how do we secure the future of the CMBA? Teams were asked to produce an innovative concept that would attract the next generation of members and catapult the organization forward in terms of engagement and revenue from those under 40. On behalf of an esteemed panel of judges who have considered the pitches from the 3 teams, I am pleased to announce that the winners of this year's Leadership Academy Challenge are Team A. Be excited, Team A. It's okay. As I call your name, please stand up for we can recognize you. Maria Carr, Addison Caruso, Melanie Dresch, Susan Jacobson, and Logan O'Connor. Congratulations, all of you. If you or someone you know might be interested in Leadership Academy, our applications are open until August 1st, and you can find more details on the website. Today's only possible thanks to the generous support of all of our sponsors. Our presenting sponsor for this meeting is our friends at Spangenberg, Shibley, and Liber, over here in the front. Thank you all. Gold sponsors include Buckingham, CSU Law Alumni Association, the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, DiCello Levitt, Ohio State Waterproofing, Taft, and UB Greensfelder. I'd also like to draw your attention to the tables in the back of the room, our partners for today's event. I'd love for all of you to stop by and meet them when you have a chance during the reception. They have lots of cool giveaways and toys too. I got a light up pen, I got some matches, all sorts of swag in the back, so make sure you go check that out. Before I leave you today, I want to take a moment for a few thank yous of my own. I'm thrilled to be joined today by my wife, Melissa, who's in the back. Her support for me in this role and in life is what makes all of this possible. Thank you for always believing in me, even on the days I don't completely believe in myself. I want to thank members of both boards of this organization as they leave us for greener pastures to find new things. Those of you retiring and those of you that are sticking around for another year, thank you to all of you. I also want to say 2 very special thank yous to our departing board presidents. Matt and Eric, I will always have you to thank for trusting that I could do this. In a year of many surprises and challenges, both inside and outside of our organization, your steady hands have allowed me to grow as a leader and have allowed the bar to reach new heights under your guidance. On behalf of the entire staff and both boards, thank you for being the exact leaders we needed in these roles during this period of transition and change. And now for my Steve Jobs moment. One more thing. Many of you in the room already know this, but I'm thrilled to announce to the rest of you that ABA President Bill Bay will be joining us in Cleveland in July to have a discussion about the ABA's national efforts around the rule of law and the preservation of our democratic institutions of law and justice. Please watch for a save of the date coming out next week, but right now, please pull out your phones if you're interested and save the date for 4 p.m. on July 8th. When we'll be hosting a fireside chat with Bill at the CMBA, followed by a reception. Please come and bring a few friends so we can fill that entire 400-person auditorium and really show Bill a Cleveland welcome. It's finally time for someone else to talk, which is good for all of us. It's now my honor to introduce Carl Beckney, Partner at Tucker Ellis, longtime bar champion and the incoming president of the Bar Foundation, for remarks. But before we do that, the challenge with list is you often miss one, and I apologize. We have a 65-year member here joining us today. Robert Lustig, can you please stand up for us?
Thank you, Chris. I'm told I'm the first incoming Bar Foundation president to speak at the annual meeting. Typically, you would expect to hear from me taking credit for a beautiful run at the Halloween run on a beautiful day, or thanking the runners and the walkers for braving the driving rain and cold for one of our most important annual fundraisers. But the purpose behind my brief words this afternoon are a little bit different. I'm speaking at the bar's annual meeting, a business meeting, and that's intentional. I'm here to bring visibility to the mission of the foundation and briefly discuss how the foundation will strengthen and formalize its partnership with our association. My comments this afternoon are small, but a symbolic step forward in our partnership. The mission of the foundation is both simple and incredibly important. Lawyers giving back. Many of you likely are advancing this mission through your bar involvement without realizing that it has ties to our foundation. For me, my involvement with the foundation began early on in my legal career when Mary Groth suggested that I use my passion for the arts to get involved with revitalizing the Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts program, one of the many innovative programs funded by the foundation. The VLA is a perfect example of the power of our bar. There are only a handful of similar organizations in other communities, and it fulfills an education and pro bono need for a uniquely Cleveland Metro clientele who wouldn't otherwise have access to counsel to serve their legal needs. Whether it's the 3 Rs, the LSAT Prep Scholarship, high school mock trial, Stoke Scholars, or recognizing the work of our wonderful public servants, our bar is constantly on the lookout for ways to give back and support Greater Cleveland. And the foundation is the financial engine that keeps these award-winning programs at the forefront of what we do as a bar in our community. As the bar takes on more ambitious programs to assist underserved in our community, such as the Cleveland Legal Collaborative, it's apparent that the foundation needs to have a more visible role and be a partner to the association. That's why we formed a Blue Ribbon Commission made of current and former bar members of both the foundation and the association to formalize our partnership and develop a plan for the bar that will serve our community and maximize the impact of the generous gifts to our foundation. Together, we know that we can continue to be innovators in legal education, pipeline programming, pro bono service, and filling any justice gaps that exist in our community. On behalf of the Foundation Board, I couldn't be more excited to work with Nick and the Association Board to reaffirm our partnership in this important work for years to come. Before I conclude, it's my absolute pleasure to recognize and celebrate our retiring officers and directors of the Bar Foundation. Directors, as I call your name, please stand, and audience members, please hold your applause until I've introduced all of them so that we can give them one big, enthusiastic round of thanks. Concluding her service as immediate past president of the Bar Foundation is Meredith Shoup. Our retiring foundation directors include Kelly Albin, Paul Kapka, Steve Day, Luis Dempsey, Matt Kucharson, Scott Lewis, Ken Lucchese, Rachel Mock, and Bobby Porter, who is stepping off the foundation board but not going far, Bobby is taking over an exciting new role as chair of the Young Lawyers section and will be joining the association board of directors. Michael Tucker, who has done an outstanding job concluding his term as vice president of finance. Frank Wardega, James Young, Rich Zeiger, and Larry Zuckerman. Please join me in a huge round of applause for these incredible leaders. And now, last but certainly not least, we recognize a truly exceptional leader. Concluding his term as president of the foundation board is the incomparable Eric Levasseur. Thankfully, Eric isn't going far either, as he will remain on the board for one more year as immediate past president. Eric, thank you for your vision, your dedication, and your tireless leadership over the past year. It's an honor to follow in your footsteps, and I am grateful to know that we will continue to benefit from your wisdom and support. Eric, I can only hope to guide the foundation with the same steady and purposeful approach that you've used with the board this past year. Thank you. And one last comment of personal privilege before I turn it back to Chris. I'd like to thank my wife, Amanda, and my kids for coming here today to support me. With that, I turn it back to Chris.
Thank you, Carl, and we're very excited for the next year under your leadership in the foundation. It's now my honor to introduce the person who wins the award for person I have talked to the most in the past year that I am not directly related to. Please join me in welcoming CMBA President Matt Besser to conduct a few acts of bar business and offer some reflections on the past year.
Folks, I don't think you meant that as a compliment to me. It is my honor to recognize our departing officers and directors of the association board. Officers and directors, please stand as I call your name, and please help me in recognizing them after I've introduced them all. Concluding his term as immediate past president of the association board, the Honorable John J. Russo. Hold your applause. I heard a couple. No, hold it. All right. Completing their terms as association directors are Lex Aaron Schwender, Susan Evans, outgoing Bar Foundation President Eric Levasseur. You're not on the association board anymore. Dennis Medica, Renuka Prashanth, Joe Sims, the Honorable Joe Spangenberg, Brad Wolf, and Mark Young. Please thank me in joining all our outgoing directors for their service. Each year, the outgoing president of the CMBA has the privilege of bestowing the President's Award to one member of the community whom they believe best exemplifies the highest values of our profession. It was my pleasure to select this year's honoree. Many of us know Nikki Schwartz as an outstanding civil and criminal litigator and was one of the finest and most respected mediators in the entire country. Many know him as the lawyer who walked into Lucasville Prison during a riot at grave personal risk to himself and negotiated the surrender of 407 inmates. And many of us know him as a champion of free speech and civil rights. I know Nikki as all these things, but I also know him as the very first lawyer besides my parents that I ever looked up to. Long before I could drive a car, I knew Nikki as a friend and mentor to my father, and if you ask the Ohio State University administration of the 1960s, as a troublemaker, a rabble-rouser, and possible communist that we should all keep a close eye on. Most of all, I know Nikki as a genuine, compassionate, and honorable man who truly believes in public service and who has touched the lives of countless people across the state. That's why it is my sincere privilege to give this year's CMBA President's Award to Nikki Schwartz.
Thank you all. Thank you. I regret that I am here somewhat incapacitated as a result of a slip and fall while on vacation in Mexico. I further regret that I have failed to identify a tortfeasor I can blame it on. Finding my reading glasses here. In 2004, I was incredibly honored by this organization being given the William K. Thomas Professionalism Award. It was a very high honor because William K. Thomas was the gold standard of judges of the 20th century, a gold standard of lawyers and human beings of the 20th century. And unfortunately, there's not time to go into detail on William K. Thomas, but there's one little anecdote that illustrates his character. And that is presented by his son, Steve, at an Inn of Court tribute that I attended years ago. And Steve talked about how growing up in the Thomas household, there were family pencils that the family was allowed to use for general purposes and federal pencils that the family was not allowed to use. And that tells you something about William K. Thomas's standards. That award was for professionalism. This one is more general. You'll be happy to know that I do not plan to summarize the 50 years of my practice career, but I was challenged with how can I present something of value in the 5 minutes that's allotted to me. And I decided to do so by sharing one insight that I developed that transcends the areas of practice that I was in. And that insight is that our clients, by and large, are strangers in a strange land. They don't know the legal system. They are dependent upon their lawyer, their counselor at law, to help them understand the system that they are enmeshed in, and to help them identify alternatives that are available to them, and hopefully help them select ones that are in their self-interest. I have a case that illustrates that insight. And the case involved a client who was charged with attempted theft of trade secrets. The client had a story of innocence that was unlikely but possible. I could not persuade the prosecutor to accept his story of innocence, and so the client and I were preparing for trial in a motel on the square of a small Ohio downstate county. While we were preparing for trial the next day, the prosecutor called and invited me to come over. And when I did, he showed me evidence that absolutely blew away my guy's story of innocence. So I came back to the motel and I told my client what I had seen and told him that instead of preparing for trial, we should be talking about working out a plea bargain of some kind. And he said to me, well, it didn't happen exactly like I told you. And he modified his story of innocence to accommodate the evidence that he now knew the prosecutor had. And I said, well, that's all well and good, but once you've told story number one and it's been disproven, it's very difficult to get people to believe story number two. And he looked at me, his face full of hurt and anger, and said, I'd appreciate it if you'd refer to them as 1 and 1A. After I scraped myself up off the floor from laughing, I was finally able to persuade him that the problems with story number two weren't solved by naming it 1A. And finally got his consent to enter into a plea bargain whereby he spent 3 months in county jail instead of years in the penitentiary. But it's an illustration of how the clients are dependent upon us as counselors at law to help see them through the strange land that they find themselves in. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your honor and will treasure it for the rest of my life. Thank you.
It takes a brave person to follow Nikki Schwartz, but I don't have much of a choice. So I've been tasked with talking about reflections from the year, but really I want to be brief so I can hand things over to my friend Nick. Not long ago, mental health in our profession was something that lawyers didn't openly talk about. Over the past year, we set out to do our part and bring this discussion out of the shadows and to help lower the barriers that have too often kept lawyers from simply taking care of themselves. One of the ways that we've tried to do that was something that no other bar association has done before. We created a series of peer support groups called bar circles for lawyers to connect with others who have been through or are going through similar life experiences, and to do so in a small, informal, social, and safe setting. Over the past year, dozens and dozens of CMBA members have joined a bar circle to talk about things like anxiety or depression, the pressures of being a working parent, the strain of being a family member to someone who's dealing with mental health struggles. And I am very pleased to tell you that other bar associations around the country are now looking at bar circles as a model to start their own. Our profession is finally starting to make real progress where mental health is concerned, and that's worth celebrating. But lasting change isn't going to come from a year of bar association programs. It will come from all of us collectively. To get there, we will need leaders within law firms who show visible, consistent, and genuine support for the wellness of not only their associates and partners, but their staff as well. We need law schools to keep placing even greater emphasis on mental health. We need the awareness and the compassion to look out for each other. And most of all, we will need the courage to take care of our own needs. And if we can do all that, we can make this profession that we've all devoted our lives to a healthier place, not only for ourselves and our colleagues, but for all the lawyers who will follow in our footsteps. Every morning for the past year, I have woken up feeling lucky and proud to serve as CMBA president. And I am so grateful to so many here and not here who have made this year a success. Of course, my family who had to put up with me even more than usual. My work family at Bolek, Besser, Glesius, who also had to put up with me more than usual, but who held down the fort so I could go put my heart into our bar association. My fellow members of the board of directors who devoted so much of their own time and heart to our bar. Eric Levasseur, our foundation board president, who led with integrity, good humor, and patience. Eric, you have been unflappable when I was not, and you have been thoughtful the entire time, and it was an honor working with you. My fellow officers, Judge Ann Walton Keller and Nick DiCello. You two were there every time I needed you, day or night. When I texted you at 5:30, can you hop on a call? And you always gave me good advice. And I know that you two care about our bar association as much as anyone. Between you two and John Mitchell, I know that our bar is in great hands. Speaking of great hands, if you have ever worked with the CMBA staff, you know how dedicated and amazing they are. So to everyone who works for CMBA, I want to say thank you for making this year so special for me personally, and thank you for everything you do to make this bar association such a special place. Before I go, I do want to mention one staff member in particular. Last year at this time, we were faced with the consequential task of finding our new leader. And after a long, thorough, and intense process led by former CMBA President Rose Feeney, a search committee representing a full spectrum of our practice, our profession, identified Chris Schmidt as the right candidate to lead CMBA now and into the future. And I'm happy to report to you that Chris is everything we hoped for and then some. But as great as a CEO as Chris has already proven himself to be, he's an even better person. You heard him jokingly say that his wife calls him exhausting. I prefer to call it relentlessly optimistic. But Chris has a true servant's heart. And he cares so genuinely about the people who work with him and about our community as a whole, whether they are strangers or friends. Chris, I am immensely, forever grateful to you for always taking my call and for everything you did for me. And I'm very happy to call you my friend from here until forever. With that, it has been my sincere honor to serve as your CMBA president this year. And it's just as much of an honor to hand over this president's gavel to my friend Nick DiCello. I don't know if I'm supposed to bop him over the head with this.
Good shot. Good luck.
Yeah, Nick will be back in just a minute. It's not time for him yet, sorry. One more, and then it's your turn, Nick. I know you're very impatient. Okay. Now, to introduce our incoming president and administer the oath of office, a longtime friend, mentor, and partner of our incoming president, Dennis Lansdowne.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the bench and bar, friends and family of our next president, I'm here to tell you we have made a good choice. We have made a good choice for our bar association and for the community at large. I can tell you this because I have had the opportunity to see our next president from his earliest days as a lawyer. I have watched him develop and work and refine his craft to become the most complete lawyer I have ever known. And I've known a lot of lawyers, so we have made a good choice. Now, I'd like to say that I was prescient about our next president way back when I had something to do with him being hired at our law firm 21 years ago, but the truth is a little different. Nick doesn't get nervous very often, but he's a little nervous now. But many of you know that Nick's first mentor and godfather in the law was the Honorable John Manos, for whom Nick was a law clerk. So one day, 21 years ago, I was at my desk and the receptionist informed me that Judge Manos was on the phone for me. Now, some of you, certainly you in this group, and you, Nikki, will remember what it was like to get a phone call from Judge Manos. Your mouth got a little drier, your pulse got a little quicker. You tried to convince yourself that you were calm as you answered, hello, Judge Manos. And on this occasion, he says, "You've got to hire this young man. I don't know why he wants to be at your law firm, but he does. And you don't want to miss out on this fine lawyer." Click. Now, I had learned by that time it was generally a good idea to take Judge Manos' suggestion. So we made an offer. 2 days later, I got another call from Judge Manos. "I don't know what you're doing over there. You're not offering him enough money. He could go to any firm he wants to go to, but he wants to go with you, and you're going to miss out on him." Click. There were a few expletives in that last exchange, but I've edited them out. We made another offer. And we also made a good choice. Of course, it takes more than being a great lawyer to be a great bar president. Our next president more than measures up in this regard as well. He is committed to this bar association. He is passionate about what this bar association means to our community. And he and his family have deep roots in this community. And our next president cares about those in this community who need a voice, who need a champion. And guess what? He actually is a champion, not just in the law, but as a former champion professional soccer player. And he brings that competitive fire to everything that he does, not in an aggressive or antagonistic way, but to demand the most out of himself. Good lawyers measure themselves against other lawyers. Great lawyers measure themselves against their best selves. That's what our next president does, and we have made a good choice. He certainly does not need this position or this responsibilities. His practice is incredibly demanding. He has other business and civic interests. He has a family with busy, amazing kids that he is devoted to. He could have easily taken a pass. But that's not what great lawyers do. That's not what great leaders do. And he knows well that at this time in our history, the stakes could not be higher for the rule of law. And so he is stepping up. And we have indeed chosen wisely, and it gives me great pleasure and pride to introduce to you the next president of the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association, Nicholas Anthony DiCello. All right, Nick, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Nicholas A. DiCello, do solemnly swear
I, Nicholas A. DiCello, do solemnly swear
that I will support the articles and regulations
that I will support the articles and regulations
of the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association
of the
Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties
of my office to the best of my ability,
of my office to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dennis. Our next order of business is to swear in the incoming members of the boards of the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Foundation and Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association. So as I call your names, please come up and line up here at the side of the stage, and I will administer the oath of office to all of you. Incoming CMBA officers, the Honorable Annie Walton Keller, President-elect. John R. Mitchell, Vice President. Travis Filicki, Vice President of Inclusion and Diversity. Mara Wilbur, Treasurer. Chris Schmidt, Secretary and CEO. Our incoming CMBA directors, Edith Cabrera, our public representative, please come forward. Justice Michael P. Donnelly. Susan Jacobson. Brendan Kelly. The Honorable Susanna Koch. Patrick Krebs. Carmina Mares. Robert Porter, our Young Lawyers Section Chair. And will the following incoming 2025-2026 Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Foundation officers please step forward for your oath? Carl Beckeny, President. Tara Coleman, President-elect. Morgan Hellgreen, Vice President of Finance. Chris Schmidt, once again, Secretary and CEO. And our incoming CMBF directors, please come forward. Adam Brown, Michael Delaney, William Doyle, Ann Fantelli, Mark Fusco, Francis Goins, Matthew Gerback, Scott Heasley, Greg Jolivet, Mark Larson, Sean McGrain, Matthew Mullins, the Young Lawyers Section Vice Chair, Jennifer Phillips, and Pete Soldado. Please come forward and I will administer the oath. So if you would all please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the articles and regulations of the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association or Foundation, and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of my office to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations. Thank you. Good afternoon. Members of the bench, members of the bar, honored guests, colleagues, friends, family, thank you for joining us at the annual meeting of the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association. It is with deep gratitude and great humility that I stand before you as the incoming president of this extraordinary organization, an organization that has served us and the people of our community for more than 150 years. Your presence here today underscores the importance of our shared mission, our shared experience as lawyers, and our shared commitment to the rule of law and to each other. We in this room are bound by our oath of office. As we started off our journey in this field to become lawyers, we all raised our hand and we swore the following: I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the Constitution and the laws of Ohio, and I will abide by the Ohio rules of professional conduct. In my capacity as an attorney and officer of the court, I will conduct myself with dignity and civility and show respect toward judges, court staff, clients, fellow professionals, and all other persons. In our capacity as attorneys, the first thing we did was swore to show respect to all other persons. I will honestly, faithfully, and competently discharge the duties of an attorney at law. That's it. Like most things that are well written, our oath is short and simple. It's less than 85 words, and yet it is comprehensive and perfectly complete. When we engage in the practice of law, we reaffirm this oath every day. Maybe not the less than 85 words part, but I know the judges and the non-lawyer family members here are thinking, less than 85 words, yeah, right. Some of you swore this oath recently. Welcome. Others, decades ago. Thank you. I want to congratulate those of you being recognized for 50 years and 65 years of membership and service. Thank you. I want to specifically recognize and thank my partner, Pete Weinberger, a past president of this organization, a predecessor of this organization, who's recognized for 50 years of incredible service. Over 20 years ago, as I was nearing the end of a federal clerkship with the Honorable John Manos, I sent Pete a letter inquiring about a job at Spangenberg, Shibley, and Liber. Pete, thanks for getting back to me about that. You will notice in the program materials that 5 lawyers from my law firm before me have served as president of this organization or its predecessor organizations. I am humbled to be the 6th. That is part of my legacy and the legacy of my law firm and my partners. Each of you has a legacy here within our organization and our profession, or maybe you are here to start a new legacy. Either way, we at the CMBA are here to promote and protect that legacy and help you prosper. To my law partners at Spangenberg, Shibley, and Liber, past and present, serving our clients and practicing law alongside each one of you has been the greatest achievement of my career. For you, I suspect putting up with me day after day as being one of your greatest achievements. Nevertheless, just know I consider you family and I love you. My partner in all of this for the last 12 years or so has been Kelly Fox. Kelly, we have achieved some incredible things for some deserving people, you and me together. I want to thank outgoing President Matt Besser for his leadership over the past year. You like the outgoing part, so I put that in there. During his presidency, Matt focused on mental health and wellness. As a profession, we rank low, as he's told us. We don't do a very good job of taking care of ourselves or of one another. Matt's initiatives and innovations raised awareness, delivered important resources for all of us, and brought lawyers together to support each other in ways no one has ever seen before. Matt, I can't think of a more worthy initiative for a bar president to undertake than to decide to dedicate himself to improving and protecting the lives and well-being of this organization's members. Thank you. As part of becoming president of this association, I recently attended a national conference of bar leaders, presidents, high-ranking members of the administrative team of bar associations from around the country, big and small, national, state, local. At the time, there was breaking news stories every day, every hour, centered around the rule of law the independence of the judiciary, and our role and duties as lawyers within our system of government in the current moment we are in. There was a lot of discussion. There were a lot of questions at that conference at the time. And what was remarkable for me, being there, representing all of you and this organization, is that these associations from all across the country were looking to us. They were looking to us to lead them. They were quite literally looking to me and Chris. They wanted to know what we were doing. They wanted to know how we were going to handle this. They were looking to us to lead them. That's a testament not only to the level of professionalism of our organization itself from an executive and administrative standpoint, it's a testament to the legacy of excellence and professionalism and stature of all of you and all of us and all of those in our legal community historically. They are looking to us right now to lead them. Our community here is looking to us to lead them as well as we always have. As lawyers, we are woven into every fabric of the lives of the people in this community. We represent people and industry to help them achieve the heights of success. Our fingerprints are on every major commercial and public transaction, good, bad, or indifferent. And we are there when people make horrible mistakes and do terrible things to one another. We stand up next to those people in court. We stand up next to those criminal defendants in that moment before that person is about to lose his or her freedom. And many of you in this room know the power of empty space when that person is taken away. Alongside us in that courtroom are lawyers whose job it is to prosecute that criminal defendant and make sure that justice is served. Presiding over the process are our lawyers serving as judges in this community. Our members serve people in this community in the most important and consequential moments in their lives. We are there to literally protect their rights, to uphold the Constitution and the laws without favor. And we do so very well here in Cleveland. At times it's unpopular and difficult, but it's collectively our sworn duty. In my own practice, I often represent people and families who've lost a loved one, a spouse, a parent, a child. And they're claiming that someone else in our system bears responsibility for that kind of loss. I work opposite opposing counsel, including folks in this very room, who represent the institutions and people against whom those very serious claims are made. And they serve those people who must deal with the weight of those kinds of allegations. And no matter the outcome, whether at trial with a winner and loser or by some other means of resolution, most often, not always, but most often, those confrontations between those two groups of people under those circumstances, both sides dealing with incredibly difficult issues, most often they end in a handshake. Always between the lawyers, in my experience, and very often between the clients themselves. With our guidance and good counsel, these people under those kind of circumstances end up treating each other with respect. As Americans, we are never all going to line up behind the same set of beliefs, principles, and ideals. If that were to ever happen, it would no longer be America. The American way and the freedoms we cherish breed confrontation of different belief systems and ways of life. And we as lawyers are uniquely qualified. We're responsible for helping to navigate these confrontations within our legal system under the rule of law, as we always have here in this community. And we need to lean into those moments now. So, we must lead with courage. Whether in the courtroom, the boardroom, the community, we must be willing to speak truth. Not in a way that divides us, but in a way that instills confidence in our system and the rule of law. To effectively speak the truth, we must first listen to each other. The best advocates among us in this room are the best listeners. We must lead with compassion and respect. The law is not just about statutes and precedents and who's right or who's wrong. It is about people. Let us never lose sight of the human stories behind every case, behind every client, and behind every cause. And we must lead together. The CMBA is not just an association, it's a community. It's a community of advocates, mentors, and change makers. We at the CMBA are here for you, and I will ask that you be there for us. As I conclude my remarks, I want to introduce you to some very important people in my life. My father, Nick DiCello, is here. My father never waited around for something to break his way. He never hoped somebody would come along and make something happen. He never tackled the problem by considering all the ways that he couldn't accomplish the objective. He always bet on himself. He never sat me down and tried to explain these seemingly inherent qualities he had or how to do what he was seemingly capable of doing. In his quiet way, he just showed me. Great leaders do not try to teach you what they know. Great leaders motivate you to learn something about yourself. And my father is a great leader. He inspired me to bet on myself and to face down any fear of failure that would ever get in my way. My mother is here. Mom, I know there were some years where I'm sure you figured my interaction with the legal system would turn out differently. You never gave up on me. From my mother, I learned compassion and empathy for others. It's my greatest strength that drives me in my chosen legal career. And it's my greatest weakness, as it turns out. The image of my mother welcoming a battered woman into our home in the middle of the night from Women's Safe is seared into my conscience and has been since the day I witnessed that moment. She did so at a difficult time in her own life. She opened our home to that stranger, no questions asked. My children, Nikki and Gianna, are here. Got to tell you, you guys are turning out to be some pretty good kids. Keep it up. I'm so very proud of both of you, and I love you. Nikki, don't be late for soccer practice tonight. My wife, Shannon. There is only in my life the time before you and the time after. You have unlocked me in a way I did not know about. My relationship with myself is fundamentally different because I have you in my life and I love you. So I am honored and excited to serve as your president. The CMBA has a long and proud tradition of service, leadership, and commitment to the rule of law. It is an important time for all of us, those of you in this room and the people we represent here in this community, as lawyers, as citizens, and as stewards of justice, to continue that tradition, as we have all done together for more than 150 years. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your partnership. And thank you for your unwavering dedication to the ideals and the oath that binds us. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick, for those inspiring words. Give me 90 more seconds, I promise. A few housekeeping things. If you are a director who is ending your term with us today, there's a piece of glass over here with your name on it. Please take yours. Don't take two. There's one for you and one for somebody else. Also, there are 2 bars. I was told that was an important detail. There's one in here and there's one out here in the elevator lobby. Staff, we're going to take a photo. Let's meet out in the elevator lobby in about 5 minutes, and we'll go ahead and take our picture out there. And beyond that, the best words of the night. Thanks for being here. The bar is open.